There we go. We are live. It's Wednesday.
Yeah.
It's roughly 6:30. And we got Holly Moon back in the building. It's all coming together today. Everything's looking beautiful. Before we get too deep into anything, though, we got to hit you with the intro. You know how we do.
What do you know about the multiverse?
What is up? What is up? Yes.
What's going on?
I'm always jamming out to the intro in the background. I just want y'all to know the heads are always bobbing. I imagine anybody who's watching, your heads are bobbing too. Thank you for joining us on another Wednesday. Just before we get into anything, Holly, welcome back. It's good to see you. I know life has been busy in a good way, and that's awesome. We love to see it. Do you want to catch us up on any of the past couple weeks for you? Share some good news, celebrate a little bit. Please take the floor.
Yes. So I want to thank, my multiverse family for sharing my post that I got into the doctorate program, like the top one that I applied to. So thank you guys for sharing and saying thank you. I appreciate it. So yes, that was like the main thing that happened 2 weeks ago, and I finally posted it like a week ago. Just busy helping with selections for new leader council. So if you guys are interested in, getting your leadership skills up, applications are still open for different chapters, like in Orlando, West Palm Beach, Broward. So yes, if you're in Florida. And there's chapters all over the US, but I've been busy with that. And so, that's where my time has been. Just all the things that I'm committed to and just trying to not drop the ball anywhere.
Oh, no, come on. We know you got those handles, Holly. You're out there chilling. So, yeah, we're not worried about you. We are not worried about you. No, keep killing it out there. We're so glad to hear it. When you come back with some good news like that, we'd love to hear it.
Yes.
I know we don't have like a ton of time in the show. So, like, we do have to jump right into our first subject. And I've been looking forward to today. After Sunday night, I was like, this is going to be fun to talk about on Wednesday. We are going to have a good time. And here we are. And I think, Minnie, you've been the most overwhelmingly supportive of House of the Dragon so far, which is beautiful. It's great. I love it. Where's our House of the Dragon stuff? But yeah, you've been the most supportive so far.
I'm with it.
And so I wanted to hear your take just after Wednesday. What were you thinking? What were you feeling? You liking it? Disliking it? Go for it.
First of all, thank you for having me once again. Love you guys. Second of all, I used to stream this, I ain't gonna lie, and I was doing it, FBI don't come catch me. But I was streaming it, and then my streaming little thing broke, so I had to get the real HBO app. So shout outs to HBO. And shout outs to Multiverse, because now I'm paying $15 a month. But the episode was worth it. I loved it. I know, listen, people might not like it because I used to some other stuff, but I loved it. It was cool. It was creepy. I cried. I wanted to throw something on my TV. I knew that my baptized homeboy, Wayne Shiznit, I knew it, and he just proved it once again. I loved it. I loved her capping. She was capping hard when they pressed her about it. She was out there putting on her mama and everything. On my dead mama. It didn't happen. I was like, damn, it's for real on your mama? It was beautiful. I loved it. As creepy as it was a good episode for me.
I love as creepy as it was. That's a great qualifier.
Yeah,
we got some. This is the least creepy picture of these two that I could put on that from that episode. That's Holly. Yeah, are you caught up? Did you have time to fit it into it?
Yes, awesome. I did catch up. I watched it yesterday.
All right. Did you hear about anything? Did you know what to expect going in, or were like by the time you got there, were you just still going in fresh?
No, I was going in like live reaction and just shocked the whole way through. So I had not been paying attention to social media because I was like, I don't want to hear anything. I want to just, blind react. And that was a very, very interesting episode, very Game of Thrones, not too surprised, but just awkward all the way around. So.
Yeah. What about you, Ty?
I mean, I was captivated the entire episode. It held my attention. For the first time, I really started to feel Game of Thrones-ish. Like this now starts to really delve into relationships and personalities and all of the things that kind of like made us really love Game of Thrones. I'm really now connecting to Rhaenyra. I've already had a connection with Damon from the jump. Still love that dude. Still hate that y'all hate on my man Damon. Damon is a good guy. But this was definitely one of the more telling episodes when it comes to how things work within the Targaryen bloodline. I actually stayed, and I don't know if you guys do, but after each episode of House of the Dragon, they usually talk to the directors and the people behind the scenes to kind of give a backstory of what the episode kind of was about. And I don't know if you guys knew, but the director is actually a woman. The director of this House of the Dragon series is actually a woman. And I know everybody kind of when they say this was strange and this episode was this, that, they're referring to the scene with Rhaenyra and Daemon in the brothel. And it was interesting to hear the characters, the actors, how they felt in those moments, as well as the director. The director said, it was a touchy scene. She had to think about how she wanted to do it, but she did it from a woman's perspective. Now, I have to throw this question to Holly because she's the only woman on the panel. The director said that she's so tired of seeing shows and movies done from a male perspective. She wanted this scene to be done from a female perspective because in the scene, what you see is Daemon leading her down a bad path. As an uncle, as a man, as just a mature individual, he's leading this young lady down a bad path. As he gets her down this bad path, he realizes she likes it. And that's not what we was going for. I was going for the total opposite, which would be shock and which would be, oh my God, I can't believe you're doing this to me, uncle. And instead, the reaction was more like, okay, I was waiting for this. Let's get it popping. And all of that in that scene, if you watch that scene, was what caused Daemon not to be able to get erect, if you want to call it, because that's what happened. He wasn't able to get erect at that point, and it was like frustrating, and he stormed off. So there's a lot to talk about in this episode, and I'm gonna let you go through the stuff, Tyrone. But overall, I think this was the best episode thus far.
Okay, interesting. Yeah, I walked away with a very different opinion of a lot of that, just for a lot of different reasons. I think ultimately, looking back on all of it, I've been waiting this whole time to understand, okay, who are the protagonists of this show? Who are the antagonists? Who am I wanting to root for? That kind of thing. And at this point in this show, I don't have a single person I can root for, especially after this episode. The only way you can justify that weird shit between an uncle and a niece is by making it so Rhaenyra is not a victim, but a willing participant. But I don't think you can have that in a situation where like a grown man has been grooming a teenage girl for years. You know what I mean? Like, I don't think you can actually be a willing participant. So there's like a lot of weird like stuff that's just not addressed in the show. And it got me thinking, because
Tyrone, I hate to cut you off, but I think Rhaenyra is about 18 or 19 at this point
now. But he's been working down this road for some years, at least 3, because we saw him at one point. He gave her the necklace, put it on all seductively. You know what I mean? And they went right back to the necklace to kind of like tie those 2 points together. Mm-hmm. You know what I mean? Like they went right back to it. So, that's a grooming relationship. We call it in the world of pedophiles are gross. We call that grooming. That shit's weird and gross. And then they framed it in this really romantic sense, which was strange. But so then is Damon the hero of this show? I don't think he can be at this point. You know what I mean? Like I think they kind of got rid of the best option for an actual hero in this show besides Rhaenyra. And even that's now kind of like on shaky ground, in my opinion. You know what I mean? It made it feel weird. And I think it got me thinking about, why didn't I have a problem with it back when the Lannisters were doing it? Like, why wasn't I so overcome with like awkward feeling about that? Well, in Game of Thrones, when the Lannisters were doing it, like they were hiding that shit. They knew it was gross. Everybody around them knew it was gross. The rumors were that they were gross people doing gross stuff, you know, that kind of thing. It was all framed in the context of like, this is not cool. Whereas like House of the Dragon is framing it in this interesting love triangle perspective that's romantic. I'm seeing like reactions online that are like shipping these two people, basically. This grown man and his niece. You know what I mean? I'm just like, well, this is so weird. It's also weird.
Well, Tyrone, it's also based upon the era. You know, like to us, it's weird for a grown man to marry anyone under the age of 18. But at one point, you know, people were marrying young women at 13, young girls at 13 and 12. You know, like that was a common thing, you know, in the early start of our not our civilization, but you know, the establishment of colonialism over here in America. There were very young marriages being arranged and participated in at that time. The same thing goes for Game of Thrones. Again, this is 720 years before the Lannisters. Yes, it's by the time it gets to the Lannisters, people are like, yeah, they've been doing this way. You know, that's kind of weird now. Like they were doing that way, you know, in the olden days, but we're modern now. We're modernized and we're a more mature society. So maybe that's why at that point, when you're looking at Game of Thrones and you see the Lannisters and everybody around them is like, oh, no. But what we are learning in this era is that this is the Targaryen way. Like they've always married within their family. Like that's exactly what Daemon told Viserys. He was like, yo, like marry me, let me marry Rhaenyra. I mean, our what do you say? Our uncle or somebody did it. Aegon the somebody, he was like, yeah, marry this cousin or something like sister or something. So I mean, this is the Targaryen way at that time. So I get it's weird to us as individuals, but the normalcy in that era, it was normal. It was like normal, but not normal, because Daemon said something that I think is very, very important. You are the dragon. What you say is law. So if you say it's okay, it doesn't matter what anybody else thinks. We're Targaryens. We are the dragons. Basically, we make the rules in essence. So, I mean, I'm not justifying it. Obviously, in our world, this is wrong. But I'm just saying from the standpoint of Game of Thrones, this is very Game of Thrones-ish. Extremely Game of Thrones.
Well, I disagree that it's Game of Thrones. I think when they did it before, it was done in a way where you're like, and I get the arguments as to how it fits in the story. Because we could have heard rumors. Again, this is something that could have happened off screen. We could have heard rumors. You know what I mean? It might have even been more powerful. Maybe some implications instead of just explicitly showing it. You know, that kind of thing. I'm more talking about just like the framing of it as like these two sort of like willing forbidden lovers who are like overcoming the stigma of like that kind of thing. It's framed as a romantic exploitation to where she's like lying for him and he's kind of owning it to piss people off and stuff like that. That's what he's doing, but it's presented in such a weird way that because I think we're supposed to still be rooting for them, and that's where it's weird, because it seems like, because of the way this show's telling the story and because there doesn't seem to be any other choices, these are supposed to be the people that we're rooting for in the show. And that's where I'm like, that's what we're supposed to get behind. Like, we're supposed to get behind this whole thing and be like, yay for them. I don't know, like that. It doesn't feel right just as a storytelling element. It seems weird to put yourself in a position where your two strongest characters, and therefore the people you assume to be protagonists in the show, are engaged in a like quite literally like incestuous situation where a grown man has groomed a girl into this relationship. That's a weird thing to celebrate, even in the context of that story. It's still weird for us to see it in that way. And so that's why, I mean, many use the word awkward, and I think Holly might use the word uncomfortable. Those feelings are not the feelings that you're supposed to get in that. It's supposed to just be like, yeah, that's gross, like we saw in the Lannisters, like yuck, right? Like we were talking about it, like, can you believe that shit? But everybody was like, yeah, can you believe? Yeah, we don't want those. We weren't like, oh, I hope they get together. I hope that they find a way. You know what I mean?
No, I think I want you to know I totally agree with you. I just think that we have to get past that if we're going to talk about the show. Like in order to like really engage and talk about this show, you have to obviously know that this is going to be an issue every single week. I mean, it's thus far this is 4 episodes in. Every single week we've had some type of incestuous, some type of weird, stuff going on. That part is part of the show. Like it is definitely, something that they're focusing on in the writing. You were absolutely correct. But as far as everything else that goes on in the storyline, I mean, can we like rate what's going on with everything else in the storyline outside of the incestuous behavior? Because we know that is part of what we're going to be seeing each and every week. Just to kind of like delve deeper into the story. That's all.
Oh yeah, we could absolutely do that, and I still will and stuff, and I'll watch it because we're talking about it and everything. But I just have to just put it out there that's just some weird ass shit. Like, and I will disagree. I don't think we should be getting past that one. It feels weird in a way, like in a society we're talking about normalizing good stuff and denormalizing bad stuff. I feel like this is a weird area to be like, this it's cool, it's fine, it's just entertainment, you know what I mean? Like that, it's a weird area, in a this I know this is very on brand Tyrone stuff, but like right now, like the LGBTQ community is being demonized as like pedophilic. They're it's a big Republican talking point to demonize an entire community based on them wanting to victimize children, and then to see like it played out like this in our entertainment, and then people are like, this is fine. It's just I don't want to stop pointing out the where things connect in different ways. Like, and to me, this is a weird like normalizing of just, I don't know, a weird idea. Just it's strange. It feels weird. That's all I wanted to. But intrigue, the king is he's got less fingers. Right? And then he's got fewer fingers. He's got he's about 7.5 fingers altogether.
Yeah, he's the king. Definitely, has less fingers. It's also, I think, important to. Did any of you know that the gentleman that the king, that's part of the king's council, the heavyset gentleman with the long hair, who he went to kind of talk about when they were proposing the marriage to what the young girl, I don't remember what her name is, the Valarian
I forgot her name too.
Yeah. Well, that individual is Tyland, I think is his name. Lannister. Did you know that he was a Lannister?
Oh no, I didn't realize he was a Lannister.
He's Tyland Lannister. Yes, he's So House Lannister has always been close to the king, to the crown. It seems as though they've always been very close to the crown. And that was somebody asked me that last week, and I didn't know who it was, and I found out this week who he was. And it's again, this is like, I think all of the players are starting to like kind of like really show their faces now. The guy that I've said is the villain from the very jump, which is Otto Hightower. This episode again shows, like, I don't know if it was just me, and I want to hear you guys' opinion on this, because I felt like maybe I was wrong about Otto a little bit, because I saw his body language, when the king took the hand, the
pin.
pendant or charm
Yeah.
away from him, letting him a bit. I could see that was a moment where you just were like, the life had been sucked out of you. Like, I'm doing my job. Like, he felt like he was doing his job to the best of his ability. I really felt like Otto really felt like he was doing a service to the king, even though subconsciously I know he knew what he was doing. Like, I'm gonna get some dirt on the princess, so my grandson could be king. I know what I'm doing. So I don't know if how you guys felt about it, but I felt like maybe I was a little wrong. Anybody want to chime in on that?
I'm Holly. Go ahead, because I read it a little bit differently. Yeah.
I felt like he got caught. Now he can't be like as close to the king anymore to kind of like fulfill his plot or underlying plan. That's kind of how I took it.
Mhm.
Like, oh, like someone caught, like he got caught in a way, and so that's kind of how I took it.
Okay.
Yeah, I read it a little bit differently. The way I read it was that he's still very much aware of and in control of what's going on Hightower. I think in that moment, maybe he didn't think the king would be like, you're no longer the hand, but I think he understands that in order to get his goal accomplished, that he just needed to walk out of the room at that point and then let the idea simmer and let the king, because the king went and acted on the stuff that he was talking about. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
Like, he wasn't trying to get necessarily like have the king be like, oh, you're my boy, thank you for telling me. He just needed for that idea to be known. He needed for the seed of doubt to be planted. So, you know, he's smarter. So I don't think that he was caught off guard. I think he was still just trying to save face for the king, you know, keep doing the good, be the good soldier. So anytime somebody's like, hey, Otto Hightower is trying to do XYZ, you can be like, but he's the only one here telling me the truth. And when I said he was the hand, he was still, you know, you stuck by me at my lowest point. You know what I mean? Because there'll be a point where the king needs somebody. He's going to turn to Hightower, and Hightower's going to be there, even though the king told him to go away. Watch, it's going to work out just like that, because this dude knows what he's doing. So, he's calculating. He might not be open. He might not be as whiny and as brash about it as Daemon, but he's calculating, and he's really trying to still get there. In my opinion, that's what I'm seeing.
I think King Viserys is a lot smarter than we give him credit for, and I think Rhaenyra is a strategist. I think we're going to find out she's a strategist and probably one of the smartest people in all of this whole setup. She knew immediately who had told on her. She knew immediately why she was told on, and the fact that she brought it up to her father and said it in such a very sure way. He took what she said for what it was, knew that he needed her for something. So I'll have to do what you ask if I need you to do it. And they made that pact to do so. I don't necessarily think he will go back to Otto at all. I think what happens is we're going to see again these afflictions that he's received from the Iron Throne continue to hammer him. He right now has these blisters or boils all over his body, which doesn't bode well for him lasting, very long. So I think that'll take him out before anything. But I definitely think Otto will be behind the scenes doing what I thought he was doing from the very jump, which is plotting. But I definitely don't think him and Viserys will have a relationship outside of, like him being the grandfather of his son.
Okay, it'll be interesting to see. You got any thoughts, Minnie? My bad.
And did you notice? No, you good. Did you notice who was the snitch was running to?
Yes, to Daemon's. I don't want to call her Daemon's whore.
She's an ex member of Ladies of the Night. You know what I'm saying? She said she quit, so she an ex member.
His associate.
She's hoe adjacent. But yeah, she's running it now, and she's the one that's running the kids out there, telling them folk. So I like that. I like that she's the one in power right now, and she got a little power behind her. So she's feeling herself. I like how she did it with when he threw the drink. Usually she would have came back and be like, "Oh God, he threw a drink," and she was like, "All right, have your money before you out, stupid," and then she walked away. So Yeah, that
Her
was
name is
kind of cool.
Mysaria.
Yeah, I told you
Yeah.
they Puerto Rican. That's all Puerto Rican names.
Yeah, Mysaria is her name. And yeah, she has been working. What we see is that she's been working with Otto Hightower from the jump, probably. Like that's what we really see. I don't know how smart she is, or what's going on, but I know that that little boy brought her the money. So
Yeah.
so he works for her. And so if he works for her, and she basically is sending him to Hightower to give him whatever information she feels like he needs to have or should have.
Yep.
So that that we'll see how that works out, but it is starting to break down, man. Like I we didn't see Corliss or any Valerians this episode.
Valerian.
Yeah, so we didn't see any of them this episode, so I'm sure it's going to be a heavy Valerian episode next or this week rather. This week we'll probably see Corliss and his whole house. And we know that at this point Rhaenyra is due to marry Corliss's son. So we'll have to see how this all plays out, man, knowing that she has been sullied by Mr. Kristen Cole.
Ooh.
So what's up, man?
What's up, man?
I don't know nothing about nothing, but the place where they were at, where they would have all the suitors and stuff like that, and so isn't that supposed to be a really like a big thing in the stories that kingdom is like the thunder or something, like the thunder or lightning something house. You remember when they had all the suitors and they were in a different kingdom, and it was the dude to the right that had, I think it's the lion. He had like a lion or something. It's his crest. But they're like, I think that's supposed to be a big thing in the story. I thought, and that's why they did it there instead of doing it somewhere else.
Well, there was actually the reason that they did that whole scene. Okay, so the whole thing about Game of Thrones is last names, right?
Right.
So the young boy who came and proposed to her, he was a Blackwood. Do you remember the Blackwood?
Right.
You know what I'm saying?
They were the original man in that
house. Yes, they were a house in Game of Thrones.
Yeah.
As a matter of fact, Blackwood is Littlefinger, isn't it? Wasn't his name?
Oh, that was his family. I didn't know that. No, yeah,
they were Blackwoods. They were black. They were Blackwoods. Remember, he initially wanted to be with the Stark mother. He was in love with her. There's a backstory there and everything like that. But they've talked about stripper name. That's all I know. That like, and this is why I implore you, my brother, watch Game of Thrones.
I'm saying you.
Watch Game of Thrones, because there's a lot of callbacks to places, the Vale,
right?
There's callbacks to these names and stuff like that. The Blackwood.
No, I figured they had beef already before they started fighting, right? That those two families had beef, right? Ooh. They don't like each other, right?
With the little kid and the dude. No, I think that dude just had a big mouth.
Yeah, facts. I mean, that's a fact. But they don't they don't have no beef in their family because they seem like some shit.
Beef. It wasn't beef. Okay. It was a lack of respect because he was a little boy, and the way that
I read an article that said they did. I don't know if it was NPR or something, but I read.
I knew someone had to go. It was popping out the mouth.
There was something when someone like reviewed the episode. They said that the boy and that guy, that their families had beef, and so that's kind of why there was already tension there and why he was already kind of.
LA boy, smell it, boy. I'm telling you.
No. All I'm saying is, in those days, your house, based on your wealth and your standing, was how you were respected or not respected. So if your house wasn't a lucrative house and had a lot of lineage and all of this kind of stuff, then you may be like looked down upon by other houses of greater export.
Right.
You know what I mean? So that was part of the thing. And this little kid is coming up here. He's saying that he's gonna protect her. The dude has got a big mouth. He's already trying to, make his play at the quick, because they're all trying to make their play. So if I'm trying to make my play and I see 30 other contestants, I don't like none of y'all. All of y'all is competition. So like I'm gonna talk junk about all of y'all. So it just so happened that this time his mouth, sign a
little
check
too wide
and
on that one.
want some cash. You know what I'm saying? And he got killed for it. Well, at least he looked like he got killed. I don't know. There was blood squirting all out about him. So I don't know. Maybe they had some
I
new
know, but
medicine
Buddy
back
hit him
then.
with that big stick. I know that much.
He did
He
nab
said,
him
"Get
up
off
real
me."
quick. So maybe he was right when he said he'll keep her safe. Who knows?
I was in an
Yeah.
NPR article who did a review on the episode, and I had read that because I was like, what was going on between those two?
See,
When they
I
were-
tell you, I smell.
yeah.
I smell
yo,
it. It's
like
the Crips and
I
Bloods
would
out
love
here. I
to know
smelled
what
it.
what that backstory is with those households of the Blackwoods and whatever household that would be. That would definitely be great information to have. But
I feel like I'm starting to feel like I'm missing a lot because I didn't read the Game of Thrones books, and because I didn't read whatever book this show is based on. I feel like I'm missing a bunch. You know, because it sounds like there's a lot of interesting shit happening in the background.
It probably is. I mean, there's lore. I mean, we're gonna have to get Nolly on here one day because Nolly read all of the books and everything like that. But it's definitely anytime we can get the real scoop, as you want to put it, that would be dope. I would love to know what the backstory is with the Blackwoods and whoever that other house is, and all of these different ordeals that everybody has with each other.
Yeah, I mean, I feel like the show has like I really wish that they were a little bit tighter with it, because we got so many you'll find out when you watch Game of Thrones. Like we were talking about 3-4 different families at a time and getting like good stories on all of them. Mm-hmm. Like we're barely talking about one family here and keeping a story together, and we have so much other stuff that we could be exploring and really putting into these episodes to help build this world. But I'm still sitting here like, what are we doing? I just overall, like after 4 episodes, I'm just like, man, I don't know. I don't know. I'm gonna keep watching it because it's going to be the conversation for a while. But my prediction at this point, looking forward, is if they don't. Yeah, I mean, it's not. It's still going to make money, so they're still going to have as many seasons as they want. So it's whatever. Nobody cares whether it's good or not. They're just like,
at this point, the success of the show is not in question, except by you. Like, look,
I'm not questioning the success of the show. I'm questioning the quality of the show.
Yeah. Like even to that point, it is an overwhelmingly large percentage of people who are loving this, and I'm not just talking about the success. I'm talking about the content. They're actually loving it. Mm-hmm. Like I said, I think this was the best episode thus far. Last week I felt a little bit, thrown back because of the time jump. But I think this episode, as far as just having me captivated, I was glued. I mean, glued. I was like literally just focused on everything that was going on at that and this episode, and just seeing everything that was happening. And I have to say, if they continue with storylines and they kind of do what you're asking, which is delve deeper into these families, deeper into these issues, let's find out what's going on with the Valerians. Let's find out what's really good with the Lannisters and what their plot is, what their position is. Because at this point, I told you that Tyrion Lannister is like, he may very well move into the position that Otto had. So he may very well become the Hand of the King, which is why, because we know in Game of Thrones, Jaime actually is the one that kills the Mad King. If I remember correctly, I believe Jaime Lannister is the one that actually kills.
I didn't even know that.
Man, look, but by the time you watch this stuff, man, oh my god, we wait forever for you.
But at this point, you're still roughly 160-ish years away from that happening. Years. Like so. Now I guess we've established they could jump as many years as they want to for whatever reason they want to. So who knows how that's going to hold up? But like they right now I don't think we're going to get to that part of it. But again, I could be. They're probably going to end up doing 40 seasons of the show, and they'll probably have time jumps in all of them. So we may cover 172 years. Who knows? Maybe it's possible.
We may. The number one show on television right now.
It's interesting. That's for sure. At least they don't show it. They don't show it, but that's the story that's told.
Yeah, in regards to the Lannister, Jaime Lannister being the one that killed the Mad King.
Yeah. Yeah, that's right. Yeah, because he was the guy who stabbed him in the back,
Yes,
called him the King Slayer. Yeah.
He was the thing of the Knight's Guard. He was
Yes.
the head of the Knight's Guard, and he killed him. And Baratheon slid into the throne. So
Baratheon.
Lisa also made a point earlier. Is remember the Targaryens all go mad because of all the messed up, gross stuff they're into. Now,
absolutely,
as a side effect of inbreeding and stuff, that is absolutely something. And if this show finds a way to make that part of the story and kind of like tie everything back to that and like make it make sense, then like I would be at the end of it being like, well, damn, they stuck the landing after I was doubting. You know what I mean? I'll be the first one to be like, wow, they did that. But like for me right now, I don't think they're gonna. I feel like, I think I was talking to you maybe, Ty, when I was like, it feels like they're just doing stuff to be part of a conversation, and it just feels like they're just going from event to event to event without giving us any real good story. So that's how it feels to me. And if they just keep doing events, then you're just going to have these conversations and they're not going to mean anything when we get to the end. But I do hope that they get to a point where they wrap it up, they make everything matter. Because after that first watch of Game of Thrones, when I did my second watch of Game of Thrones, you could see them planting the seeds and you could see where they were starting to tie threads together. And you were like, wow, this was done really, really well. But I don't have that feeling right now. But there's still time.
Yeah, I think this is systematic. I think that the whole purpose of this first season was to get the old fans to gravitate back. Just let me hold your attention enough to get you back to understanding that we are going somewhere with this. I don't necessarily know at this point where it's going. Like, we don't know who to root for because it's 4 episodes in. I don't expect to know, everybody and who's I think it took us 2 to 3 seasons before we realized how much we hated Joffrey. And I think that I
hated Joffrey immediately. That kid was a bastard from the first time he jumped on screen. The very first time.
He was an asshole. There are a lot of assholes that walk in it, but to hate Joffrey, which is what we all eventually came to do, which was loathe this. Not one person shed a tear, felt bad when Joffrey got poisoned.
Right.
If anything, we all stood, rejoiced, and clapped. It's about time. Like, that was kind of like, and for it to be such a popular consensus that the hatred for this one individual was like that is like, that's what I say about the writing and how the story unfolded. Was we gained hate for this guy.
I will say we absolutely gained more as time went on, but I will say that if when he was talking his shit in episode 1, if little Arya like grabbed him and drowned him in that little river immediately, I would have collapsed. I would have been like, you did the right thing, Arya. Congratulations. Like, it was like, that was immediate on site for that kid, like, without a doubt. But like, and even to that point, like, more seriously to that point, in episode 1, I was like rooting for Jon Snow. I'm rooting for Tyrion Lannister. And I'm rooting for Ned Stark. Like, we knew that right away in Game of Thrones. Like these dudes right here.
For Tyrion in episode 1.
Yeah, Tyrion was awesome in episode 1. Like, he was a little he was a little playboy. He was out here. He was not giving anybody any kind of respect. But but like, he had charisma. You know what I mean? He was charming in that episode. You're just like, this dude. Asshole. Yeah, he was that's what I'm saying. You can be an asshole, be a charismatic asshole, and I will say Damon has that. But like, I hope they get to use him better. But like, they're those people like popped out of the screen, man. I was like, man, I love these. Even I loved hating Joffrey. I hated Joffrey, but I loved hating that kid. You know what I mean? It was, it gave it a little bit more texture. It was more fun. We were united in hatred against that kid when he got what he got. Everybody celebrated. That was a Game of Thrones moment that was so just so organically grown and widely celebrated that it was. I don't think you'll ever see that again. You know what I mean? That was crazy. But right now, I think the show's suffering from a lack of these. For me, the show's suffering from a lack of this kind of star power. And I'm not talking about like big name celebrities. I'm talking about just somebody being like, I'm your favorite, I'm your guy, or I'm your girl, whatever. This is I'm the person you're going to be hoping never dies. Every season we're going to be like, oh my God, don't kill. You better not kill this. If you kill this person,
Damon.
I'm never.
That's Damon right now, man.
Damon just like, no, you can't. Like, Damon can't be that guy anymore. He can't be that guy anymore.
Damon is acting his ass off. He's fucking awesome on screen. Like, yo, he like how can we love Tyrion, who was a charismatic asshole, and you're going to sit here and say that Daemon's not a charismatic asshole?
No, I said he was a charismatic asshole, but now he's also a rapist. You know what I mean? And I can't root for that. I can't do it. Like when Tyrion had to marry a child, he was forced to marry a child in Game of Thrones, and he was like, he wouldn't touch her. He was like, nah. He's like, I'm gonna be over here, you be over there. This is wrong. Like, nah, we're not doing this. You know what I mean? Like, just cause like it was clear to him. You know what I mean? So it was easy to root for that. Daemon, like they ruined the show, ruined Daemon for me now. You know, it was different when he just had ideas and designs, but now it's just like, I can't root for that guy.
He gonna have to shoot somebody for him to not root for him. I'm telling you, he gonna have to go ahead and do a drive-by on some children or something. Like, it's crazy.
Star power, like Matt Smith has star power, and there's no question about it.
I agree.
He is the star of the show without a doubt. And I just think that the more and more that they unwrap his character, because he has a huge character arc. So I think there's ways that you can hate him, because obviously you hate him for those reasons. And then I think as the story progresses, there'll be moments, like whether they're very brief or not, but there'll be moments where you can relate to him as an individual, as a person. So
I think the best we're going to get is a Jaime Lannister type arc where you can't ever truly be the good guy. I mean, you tried to murder a child. You know what I mean? Like, you can't, because you already crossed the line into being a bad guy. You can't come back, right? There's redemption to a certain extent, and then it was forever the Cersei thing or whatever. But there was a time where you had sympathy for Jaime Lannister. He went through so much shit that you were like, wow, like I feel bad for what he's going through in this moment. He still tried to kill that kid, and he's still a bastard. Like, he's done some pretty shady shit. And he's screwed over a lot of people. But I still have sympathy for this man right now for some reason. That was just brilliant writing. That was a great job with Jaime Lannister's arc in Game of Thrones.
They broke him all the way down.
Yeah,
like in order for you to see him humbled and understand that there is a possibility for redemption, because at the end of all of that, like, I didn't hate Jaime. Like, you know, at the end of it, I mean, Jaime still wanted to be with his sister. I mean, that never changed.
Gross.
Like, it was gross. That never changed. But I think as far as there was this time, and I think they spoke about it briefly in Game of Thrones, that Jaime Lannister was regarded as like the ultimate, like the storybook version of a knight, of like honor and gallantry and valiant. He was all of the things you can name to describe that was Jaime Lannister at one point. And when we saw him lose his hand, it humbled him. You saw him, you know, in captivity. You know, and
the version you talk about, though, that was a version that happened before we get introduced to him in the show. So we only hear about that version in stories. You know, so when we get him, we get not a good dude at all. Like, we learn very quickly Jaime Lannister is a piece of shit. Like,
second episode, he pushed old boy Bran out the window. Like, he was like he didn't even like, it wasn't even like he was like
you're not going to remember any of these names. I promise you, you're not going to remember any of this shit.
But all I'm thinking is these niggas don't know how to stop.
No, man.
We have to.
You need to learn how to start.
We have to talk about it.
I want to, but now I know how all these niggas die.
But it's but it's real, and it's kind of, I like to have an example of how good it can be to to set, because I think it did set the bar high. The first 4, 5, 6 seasons of Game of Thrones set the bar really high, and I'm not saying that you have to meet that bar or be exactly the same, but the things, like just the intangible things that made Game of Thrones so fun, where you could just like ignore certain things, you could get past certain things. I'm not getting that. You know what I mean? Like, there's not there right now aren't many good reasons for me to keep watching this show, except for like wanting to talk to y'all about it. You know what I mean? Like, and that's really I think that's going to end up keeping a lot of people watching too. I think it'll continue to be the #1 show because people want to be a part of the conversation, not necessarily because they just can't wait to see what happens. You know what I mean? That's how I feel about it. I'm just sharing mine, and I wonder if we'll hear that start to become a sentiment. If we hear it talked about in more the way people talk about Real Housewives or something like that, you know, because it's getting messy.
I can't see that happening with HBO is like if there was any platform that I would want to have a series on, it would be HBO. HBO is traditionally known for having very, 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 very good series that tend to last a very long time. And this is no different. I don't see this going away. You know, there was a lot of like we sat here for a whole episode and talked about how much we hated what happened with Game of Thrones, how they ended it and everything like that, how good we thought the first, you know, few seasons were. We talked about all of these things, and I think we're really thirsty for something like this. Like there's a lot of those fans that walked away feeling unfulfilled. And if we can give them an opportunity to receive that fulfillment that they felt like they were cheated out of, a lot of those people are going to continue to watch the show, unless it just gets outright just like if the writing just gets super terrible and it's just only based around incest and that's all we are doing every single week for the whole season, then yeah, I guess everybody will probably be like, this is just too much. That's too much. You know what I'm saying? Right. So yeah.
And I feel you. And before we move on, I will just say there was a momentary dragon. We have to acknowledge the dragons. There's a dragon for like 3 seconds in the episode. So just want to put that out there because I'd be remiss if I didn't mention the presence of a dragon as he flew by. Now, as I do, you know, I love to sit in conversations that go along, but we do have a couple of things we got to touch on before we get out of here. Especially, you know, we'll take a little while closing out, but not too long. But just in a moment of you know, realness and sorrow, we did lose a couple people this week in the entertainment industry. You know, and it is a sad moment. First, I want to touch on Jesse Powell. Jesse Powell is an R&B singer, fantastic voice. He was said to have passed away peacefully in his home. His sister posted that to social media. Just a real quick story. Jesse Powell, that was one of like my favorite songs when I was like an early teenager. So much so I was always nervous to call the radio and request a song, but like I had to get that because I was trying to make my tape. So I was like, this is going to be the song that I need. So I need this on the tape. So I called and requested, and I remember like that was like such an accomplishment for me. I was like, I did it. I got the song played, and I got my tape. So Jesse Powell, thank you for that moment. Thank you for you know, motivating me to give a call to the radio to hear your song. And rest in peace.
Rest in peace, Jesse Powell. Sure.
Yeah, and Ty, I know you saw that PNB Rock also was lost to us this week. I think it might have just been yesterday, if I'm not mistaken, or the day before. But he was actually murdered, which is just awful. But a troubling. It seems to be kind of a troubling trend lately. Almost, I don't want to say trend. I think that maybe implies too much, but it seems to be happening a little bit more often than usual. Ty, you have anything to say about that?
Yeah, I think it's time for. And I'm speaking directly to anybody who was in the limelight, in the spotlight, celebrity, you know, whatever your field is that puts you in a position to be in the eye of the storm. I think it's time for all of those individuals to realize that you cannot move with emotion, move on emotion, where you just feel as though it's okay for me to go out and about. It should be okay. I should be fine just walking out here alone by myself. Because you're a target, whether you realize it or not. There are individuals that are out here just looking for food. And you sometimes look like the best kind of delicacy when it comes to what they're looking for. Instead of taking all this money, and I hate to tell people what to do with their money because it's their money. You work hard for it, do what you want to do. But I would have a suggestion. hire security, hire someone who is able to protect you in the instance where you can't protect yourself. This happened in a public a Roscoe's Chicken and Waffles. The individual came right inside, just pulled a gun on him and robbed him. And I guess there was a struggle or something. I don't know. I don't know the facts. You have the facts, Minnie?
Yeah. Well, I mean, finish your point though.
But I think it's very important that instead of it, so we don't continue to have this, because this happens way more than not. You be smarter, just invest in security. Like this idea that I look soft or I look weak if I have security, none of that shit matters if you're dead. Like none of it. How you look matters not if you're dead. So I think that's one of those things that should be addressed, and I hope that a lot more of these entertainers take this serious, because it keeps happening. I mean, we lost now this is PNB Rock. We lost Extension the same way for getting robbed. What's his name? Little Mo, Young Mo, or whatever his name is in Texas. He got it, same thing. Young Dolph, the same thing just happened to Young Dolph. So this has got to stop, man. Y'all got to understand. You got to move with security. It's okay. It's okay. If I'd rather have them and not need them than need them and not have them.
What's up, Minnie?
All right, so I hate when I have to say stupid shit. All right, so he did have there's some things that you just don't say, but I have to. He did have people with him. He had people from Philly with him. He had sent them 2 days before that. He had sent them back home because of the problem that he had with somebody. That had nothing to do. He had a problem within themselves. So he did have security. Just happened that 2 days before that he sent them home. It's just coincidence. He had went to that Roscoe's Chicken and Waffles before, but he wasn't all jewelried up like he was this time. He thought he was good in that neighborhood. The bad thing about that's on Manchester. If you're on Manchester, that's really right in the hood. Like if you're from LA, motherfuckers don't even sit and eat there. They get their food and they go. Like that's not where you go. If you want to sit down on Roscoe's, you go all to the west side, or you go all the way up to Inglewood, which is still gangbang territory, but they're not so pressed to get your shit there. Like it's not like hood as fuck. Like everybody hungry around there. So he went out there with his kids. I don't blame him for that at all. I don't blame him for going out with his kids and being out in public, but you have to, my thing with this is you have to know where you're at and you have to peep the signs. You're not from that neighborhood. You're not from that place. You can look everywhere and it's going to tell you that's not the place to go with your family. You feel me? Like every wall around that place is tagged with gangbanging. Every wall, trust me, all the way up there. You know what I mean? There's only 2 ways up there anyway, on Manchester. So he should have known, sadly. It's just sometimes the mindset that these kids have is that nothing's going to happen to them. Or they think, oh, I got it on me. And it's all sweet. But it's not. And people don't care if you're for your family anymore. But those days are gone. Back in the days, it was a thing you with your kids. They're not going to pull it on you. That don't matter no more. People out here trying to prove points. So this is all I got to say. If you're in LA, I don't know about nowhere else. If you're in California and you're in South Central or you're in the South Side, know where you're at. Make sure people that you know that live there know you're there. Act accordingly. And when it comes to giving up whatever you think you have, because if he had $800,000 worth of jewelry in his neck, he has more than that in the bank. So you can literally give that up and have more in the bank. Please don't give up your life over some jewelry. He did give up the first piece of jewelry, the second piece of jewelry. He reacted a little certain way, had a conversation with the dude, the second dude that was there, because it was 3 dudes that walked in. And that Roscoe Chicken and Waffles has 2 entrances. He's one in the backside. So it's 3 dudes that walked in. The other dude that was with the guy that was talking to him didn't have the patience. And he's the one that pulled up on him. You see what I'm saying? So he didn't give it up fast enough for the other dude. He was giving up the stuff. It wasn't like he was trying to fight and say no, put hand. He was giving it up. He already gave up 1 piece of jewelry. It's just the second one, he had something to say, and they didn't want to hear it. So, hey, your life is more important, man. And if you're in LA, we say, LA people say stay dangerous. We say it for a reason. Know where you at, man. For real. It's enough of that. Because we don't look good. This ain't no boasting. This ain't no bragging. We look stupid as hell. Every time we look stupid. So we just look stupid again. And you know, that's the thing that we got to walk with. Because now you say you from this side or this side, people automatically think you ain't shit because stupid shit like this. And I apologize, but it's just it makes me, you know what I mean? Like it hurts me more than most motherfuckers.
Yeah,
So
you being from there, Minnie, you know, you got an inside, you know, I'm saying the inside scoop on how the lay of the land is. But what I'm saying is security is a deterrent. I don't care
facts.
who you are. Like
That's
when
a
you
fact.
see that he got armed individuals, you know that if I'm going at him, it's going to be a shootout, and it's going to be more work than it's worth. And I'm telling you, just like I know, I grew up with a lot of dudes that would stick up kids and robbers and all of that. And one thing I know is they want the easy work. They don't want the hard work. They will take the hard work, but they want the easy work. They don't want to. That's why a lot of times stick up kids. Guess who they rob? They rob drug dealers. They don't go rob lawyers and doctors and all of that kind of stuff. They rob the people around.
Ain't nobody calling the cops. Exactly. But my thing is,
if you would have had security, that wouldn't have been a question, man. They wouldn't have even pulled up like that. They would have got shot or bodied or something, or it would have been a shootout in there. And especially with your kids. That's what I'm saying. Like you telling me he was in there with his kids. That's
with his family, bro. His whole family.
The most carefully. Family. Like, come on, I'm with my kids.
This is the thing to me. Exactly. So why you in that neighborhood to begin with? So this is the thing to me. If you're an entertainer, bro, you are meant to walk on the sidewalk. Get out of the street. Get off the street. Don't claim no street nothing. Don't bang no street nothing. You an entertainer. Stop that. Because they will come and check you. You walk around doing interviews talking about, oh, somebody pull up on me and try to rob me. I'm gonna put the thing on them. They weren't even thinking about robbing you. Now they is, because they really want to check if you're gonna pull that thing out. Bro, LA is different. Stop it. Like, you know, I'm not talking about you. I'm talking about the people there, the people that come visit, the people rappers and all that. Relax, chill out. Like it's not what you think. The palm trees will get you fucked up. It really will.
I believe.
I'd love to see.
R.I.P. to the man, by the way. R.I.P. to the man, because nobody deserves no shit like that ever.
Yeah, and also, you know, don't rob and kill people. And
no,
even,
and
even as just like a security guard, like you know, you're expected to take a life to protect, you know, a chain or something like that. You know what I mean? Like, I feel like it needs to be a mindset change altogether with this, you know, what we value over human life. You know, we're in a time of unprecedented wealth gap. And there are a lot more broke people these days than there are rich people, and that is something that is going to eventually cause a tipping point. And we're seeing more and more of that for that reason. It's not, you know, it's not just because more people just feel like killing. It's because, you know, there's the gap between the haves and the have-nots continues to get wider, and their numbers are not as high as the numbers of those of us who are in the have-not column. You know what I mean? And I say those of us. You know, I mean, under a certain tax bracket. So, you know, let's start to, I don't know, like maybe instead of buying the chain, reinvest in your community, try to, you know, help the next generation of people, you know, get what you didn't have. You know what I mean? So, you know, I would love to see a mindset change. You know, the days of flashing your chains and stuff need to be over. We got to start moving on.
That's a fact.
Opportunist is an opportunist. Like that's the thing, man. Like what you just said is so telling. We're amidst the largest wealth gap in the history of our society, and at this point right now, opportunity. If a person looks at you, and they're looking at their bank account is subjected to you know negative values and all of that kind of stuff, and not looking the way it should look, and then they look over. And they see you shining with diamonds and all of these things that look like my future can change at this very moment. It doesn't take much when you're already on the edge and on the ledge to just jump. It doesn't take much.
I mean, literally, like, especially in hip hop, I mean, one of the most influential songs in the first days of hip hop was literally called The Message. Listen to it and understand it, because the message rings true even to this day. Like, please stop. Yeah, and read.
I say it's the best song ever.
Yeah, no, I love this one of the
to this day. I say it's one of the best songs, hip hop songs ever.
Bars for days in that song, but like, read the room, y'all. Like it. People are struggling. People are hurting. People are dying. You know, we got people in this country who don't have drinking water. We got like shit is bad. And you have the opportunity, you have all this money and all this power, and the thing you want to do is you want to go to these neighborhoods that are struggling, and you want to show what you got. You know what I mean? Like, just think about that for a moment. You know what I mean? That shouldn't be what we value. We should not be valuing that as society, as individuals. So, you know, just step off the soapbox. I just wanted to jump on for just a minute and a half. Y'all know how I love soapboxes. So, you know, I want to just real quick, just get in on that. Any final thoughts on Jesse Powell, PNB? No,
just rest in peace.
Yeah, rest in peace. And we can be better. Yeah, absolutely can be. Ty, we talked a little bit about. We're gonna go a little bit over. That's and that's on me. I like talking to y'all, so here we are. But there's a movie coming up called The Woman King.
Tomorrow.
Movie's coming out tomorrow. Thank you for that, because I was thinking it was next week. So I'm glad you told me. And but the movie coming out tomorrow called The Woman King, star-studded cast of very talented actors, but it's causing a little bit of controversy. You know, Ty, do you want to kind of catch us up on what's happening here for a couple minutes?
Yeah, real quick. I was wondering why this movie wasn't getting kind of the exposure or the marketing that some of the bigger movies get. And I was about to, you know, get on my soapbox and then start, you know, raising hell. But then I did a little research and I found out what's going on and why maybe it's not getting the same type of love that maybe a Black Panther would get, since it's an all-Black film. Come to find out that this is following an African tribe of women and men in that also owned slaves, were slave hoarders back then, and slave traders. And in history, well, based on what history says, I don't know how true this is or not, but based on history, they were engaged in a very short war with the French, because the French were trying to come in and abolish slavery. And I wasn't aware of that. I thought that this was, you know, typical invaders are coming to take over our country. We have to defend ourselves, and there we go. Because I don't know about you guys, but one of the best African movies that I've ever seen in my life was Shaka Zulu. And that 7-part series, because you know back then they would make you watch 7 days. You'd be watching the whole week.
That was that man.
Yeah, but this is totally different than that, because that was British colonizers coming over to try to take the lands for real. This is like the worst possible out of all of the history of all of the beautiful things that we've done in history. This is the one time that we get a movie on the big screen, and this is what it's about. So this is why a lot of people are really up in arms about this. You know, they're really not supporting this in any way. I've seen so many forums talking about how dare Viola Davis do this? She should have known better, and da da da. And I'm like, Viola Davis has a job. She's an actor, and she gets paid to act. So what do you mean? She's not here to, you know. But hey, whatever the case may be. But yeah, I was gonna suggest people going to see it, but I'm gonna see it myself, just because I like to support all things Black.
And I think I think it does beg the question, and maybe this is something we should dive into a little bit more next week, but this begs the question, why the outrage in this situation, but a movie like 12 Years a Slave, or, you know, Django, or Roots, or any number of Amistad, any number of films that dealt with white slave owners, you know, seem to be more acceptable. It's a weird line to draw. And I know that there's a lot of nuance around it, but like, I think it's definitely worth having a conversation about, like, is this the right place to aim our outrage? You know what I mean?
Well, I think the real reason, and I can see it too. The reason why we're so upset about it is because now this is like a visual showing white people, like, excusing them. That's what it is. It's excusing you for slavery, saying that we did it before you guys. So how are we the ones that do slavery if you guys were already doing it? That's why Black people are so upset. So now you want to show us as these slave owners and everything like that to excuse all of the stuff that you did. Like, oh, we learned it from you.
Well,
so that's where it's like that. Oh, so we didn't know it.
But I feel you. But like that was an excuse before this movie was ever a thing. You know what I mean? That was one of the favorite. That was like a favorite thing for racists to say is Africans own slaves. You know what I mean? That's a long time. That's a classic. That's on now. This is what I call racism #1. You know what I mean? That's like track 3 on that album. You know what I mean? So you know that I don't feel it's definitely a conversation that I think we should jump into more because I'm going to read about it because I didn't even know this. You've educated me on something that I had no idea about. So I'm going to, go and see because I want to learn more about this tribe. I want to learn more about the story. I do want to watch the movie because if it gives me some historical context and perspective that I didn't have before, then, that's pretty cool. So, yeah, I do think we, it's something that maybe we should dive into a little bit and see where we come out on the other side of that.
Yeah, the movie comes out tomorrow, so we could tap into it next week or something. And after we've seen it and kind of give our opinions of it and everything like that. But
cool.
The Woman King.
Well, thank you for enlightening us to that, and that's going to add a little bit of extra context to this when we check it out. Thank you for that. Yeah. Before we move on and close out with Holly's TikTok reviews, we do have our brand new segment, which is a sports segment by our very own mini baby Grogu. We got the here we go. We got the little intro going. Hold on. Mini got his intro. He loves it too. He can't wait to it. He wants you to know this is very true.
Ooh, here's a chance, be a man, take my hand, understand. I don't want no minute man.
It's all yours. Take it away, Minnie.
Lovely intro. Look, listen, we will start. It's only a minute, so we're gonna start with the NFL. Last week, some picks were good, some picks were bad. This is my picks for this week. We got KC. I got Steelers, Giants, Browns, Jags. I'm gonna go with the Ravens. I'm gonna go with the Commanders, aka King Cobras. I'm gonna go with the 49ers, the Rams, and yes, by the way, Tyrone, I did say Jags. The Raiders. Of course, the Broncos, the Bengals, the Bills, and believe it or not, I'm going with the Vikings. So those are my picks for the NFL. Now, I would like to dedicate my next segment up to Mr. Swaggy P. Mr. Swaggy P, please do me a favor and do not ever in your life put some boxing gloves on. Lord have mercy. I'm glad that Blueface wasn't in the square circle because he would have crip walked all over your face. Because that was a horrible athletic exposure you gave. Now, lastly, I know I'm passing a minute, but I don't give a goddamn. The man, the greatest. Look, listen, in my book, he's top 5, not top 2 of all time in the UFC. Mr. Nate Diaz. Nate, boy, look at you coming out with an ass whooping on Mr. Ferguson. Who would have thought? Everybody thought you was going to die on the damn ring. Everybody thought it was going to be over in the octagon and you weren't going to do nothing else with your life. But you survived and you beat him at his own game with a chokehold. Congratulations to you. I hope you start boxing. I hope you whoop one of the Paul brothers' asses. And Nate Diaz, congratulations. You the GOAT, my man. That's my sports minute. Stop playing my name.
Ooh, damn. All right, Minnie. I like it. I like the paper throw at the end. I feel like I don't even need to give you an outro on that because the paper throw was just the perfect outro. I mean, why ruin that moment? That was a mic drop.
I appreciate it.
Thank you for that, man. And also thank you for picking the Jags. We'll see if we win this week. That means you got to pick the Jags every week from now on for the rest of your life. No exceptions.
Okay.
Holly, you got a little something for us, Holly?
I do. I have I have some TikToks that I can share. So
oh, good. Okay. Well, let's give you, we got to give you the treatment. Take us home, Holly.
All right. So I just found this one in the archive coming across TikTok today, and I thought it was funny.
Hey, Mia, you better hide your baby oil. I'm just playing.
You better hide that big ass forehead.
I was just joking.
He said, I was just joking. Damn. Don't they have real beef?
I thought they did. That's why I was like, and then Ludacris. Ludacris
Everybody
wrote
just be clowning
character.
Tyrese because he's emotional. He's always crying.
That's hilarious.
Tyrese got beef with his baby moms. That's it.
Yeah, he's Tyrese got beef with the issue. Like, come on, let's
Okay. What would you do if you saw this in your kitchen? Here we go.
And ask them when they can actually see the place. All right? Oh, shit!
Yeah, I'd say that's about probably what I would have done in that moment.
Yeah.
Accuracy.
Okay. Yes. Okay. So this is a prank at Walmart, I guess.
Yeah.
The bitch playing games, you know? With the phone.
Huh?
And then he did again. So put the pistol in his ass.
play too much,
Yep,
man.
yo, keep playing.
Keep playing. I'm telling you, you hit the wrong person with that, yo. Hey, they're not gonna just go for that. My man said he was gonna put the pistol on him.
Mhm.
Go ahead and throw it again. Watch me put the pistol on you. I'm telling you, you get some old men that say stuff like that. Let me put the pistol on you. They're gonna shoot your ass. They're gonna shoot you for real.
Okay, this is for the artistic people with being creative with rice. Okay.
So I know you care. Bring it over to my place. You don't know what you do to me. Your body like to me. I don't know.
That's dope.
Yeah, that's cool.
I'd love to know how they did that.
If you go through her channel, she literally makes all types of characters, Pokemon, like, and it's really cool. And she'll show you how she puts the rice on it, and then literally just to throw it up.
Wow.
And
Just
take
for
a
that
video.
moment. All right.
Yeah.
I thought we was creative with rice.
Okay, two more. So this one I just thought was funny. So it reminds me of video games.
Oh hell no!
Damn.
Who put that? The fact that they
Yes.
put the music to it, I thought.
Man,
Yeah, he went to the
Man, the
he went to
city
the
gonna
underwater
owe me.
level.
the city
Yeah.
gonna owe me. I'ma own a piece of the city. Trust me, my kid falls down a hole like
Okay, last one.
Target, y'all could go ahead and count y'all days. I walked in there for dog food and deodorant. How y'all give me $434? What's in the air? I probably got the same air conditioners that the casinos be using, because what am I gonna do with a Bluetooth waffle maker? I didn't need that before I walked in y'all store. Next time I go in there and this happens again, I'm calling the police. Because I'm not spending my money. That's y'all spending my money.
I know this touch this was right at home for you, Holly. Holly did not go in the Target without spending
love Target.
$675.
Listen, something in the Target water.
Oh,
I have to
man.
do this one. Last one. This is like, because Halloween's coming up. I feel like, I have to do this one.
Bitch, I'm stylish. Glock talk, big t-shirt, Billy Eilish. Watch on my wrist, but I want that diamond.
That's dope.
It's cool makeup.
Dope. Yeah. I can't wait to see what kind of costumes we pull out for this October
why I
run.
brought that up.
Oh man.
I can't wait to
Yeah,
see what you
Halloween's so
guys have in store.
But damn, we have
bringing back some old guests. You
tune
never
in
know.
in 6 weeks when we find out what people are wearing for Halloween. But also tune in next week. I guess does anybody have anything they want to say before we head out? Because I know we're way over, but thank you so much for hanging out with us, everybody. It's been a fun night.
Just catch us on Saturday on the New Blurred Order at 10 a.m., where we will be talking about House of the Dragon, Rings of Power, and
She-Hulk.
You just got to tune in. We'll be talking about a lot of stuff, though.
That's
and of course,
what.
you come here every Wednesday.
Again, thank you all for watching. I have been Tyrone Thornhill. We got Tylene, we got Mini Baby Grogu, and of course we have Holly Noon. Just thank you so much for joining us, and we hope to see you next week. Thank you.